You have taken my children from me. Joseph is gone. Simeon is gone. And now you want to take Benjamin too. Everything is against me.
Joseph, his favored son, had been lost to him for so many years. Simeon was now a prisoner in that foreign land. And Benjamin, the last precious link to his dearest wife Rachel, was being demanded as the price for food. Reuben, the eldest, tried to offer a solution, a desperate pledge to ease his father's mind. You can put my own 2 sons to death if I do not bring him back to you. Trust him to my care, and I will bring him back. It was a shocking and extreme promise, born of a deep desire to fix the impossible situation they were in. But Jacob shook his head, his resolve hardening. No, Jacob declared, my son will not go down there with you. He could not separate Benjamin from the memory of his brother Joseph. The two were intertwined in his heart, symbols of a love and a loss that still defined him. His brother is dead, and he is the only one left. If harm comes to him on the journey you are taking, you would bring my gray hairs down to the grave in sorrow. But the famine did not care for a father's grief. The hunger grew more severe, and the faces of his family grew thinner. Judah saw the desperation in his father's eyes and knew that words of comfort were not enough. He approached his father again, not with a desperate offer like Reuben's, but with a solemn, binding vow. Send the boy with me, Judah said, his voice ringing with a new kind of authority. I myself will guarantee his safety. You can hold me personally accountable for him. If I do not bring him back to you and set him here before you, I will bear the blame before you all my life. This was not a reckless promise like Reuben's. It was a pledge of his own future, his own honor. He was offering himself as the collateral. He pressed on, his logic clear and urgent. If we had not wasted all this time, we could have gone and come back twice by now. Their father's fear had paralyzed them, keeping them trapped while their resources dwindled to nothing. Finally, something in Jacob's spirit broke. He let out a long, slow sigh of resignation. If it must be so, he said, then this is what you must do. He began to give instructions. Take some of the best products of the land in your bags and carry them down to the man as a gift. A little balm, a little honey, spices, myrrh, pistachio, nuts, almonds. Then he addressed the issue of the money. Take double the amount of silver with you, he commanded, and carry back the silver that was returned to you in the mouths of your sacks. Perhaps it was a mistake. With their father's reluctant blessing secured, the brothers moved quickly. There was no more time to waste. Fragrant balm, sweet honey, aromatic spices, myrrh, precious nuts. Each item was carefully packed. They counted out the silver, the money that had mysteriously reappeared in their sacks, a bundle of silver that still made them uneasy. Then they gathered a second, equal amount for the new grain. The 10 brothers set out across the desert on donkeys. Benjamin, the youngest, walked among them. The journey south was long and arduous, famine-scarred landscape. The sun beat down. They traveled in apprehension and determination. They replayed the events of their last visit. Would the governor be pleased with their gifts? Would he accept their explanation for the returned money? And most importantly, would he release Simeon so they could return home safely? At last, the sprawling cities of Egypt came into view. They moved through bustling streets to the place they had first met the governor. Joseph saw them from a distance. His eyes scanned the group and locked onto the younger face, Benjamin. A wave of controlled emotion washed over him. He turned to the steward and gave a swift, quiet command.
Take these men to my house, slaughter an animal and prepare a meal. They are to eat with me at noon.
The men were led away toward a grand private residence. But the invitation brought no relief. A cold dread filled their hearts.
This is because of the silver.
The money that was put back in our sacks the first time. He's bringing us here to attack us, to overpower us, to seize us as slaves and take our donkeys. They were terrified, convinced it was a trap. Their fear turned the governor's gesture of hospitality into a terrifying prelude to doom. As they reached the entrance to Joseph's grand house, the brothers huddled together, their anxiety mounting with every step. They couldn't just walk into what they believed was a trap without trying to defend themselves. They spotted the steward, the man who managed Joseph's household, and rushed toward him before he could lead them inside. They spoke in a frantic, jumbled rush, their words spilling out as they tried to explain the situation that was causing them so much fear.
Please, sir.
We came down here the first time to buy food, but something strange happened on our way home. They hoped that by explaining themselves now, out in the open, they could prevent a terrible misunderstanding. Their story tumbled out.
When we stopped for the night, we opened our sacks.
And each of us found his silver, the full weight of it, in the mouth of his sack. They wanted to make it absolutely clear that they had not intended to steal anything.
So we have brought it back with us.
We have also brought additional silver with us to buy more food. They hoped their honesty and their double payment would prove their good intentions and save them from the punishment they feared was coming.
We don't know who put our silver in our sacks.
The steward listened patiently to their panicked explanation, his expression calm and reassuring.
It's all right. Don't be afraid.
His words were like a cool drink of water in a desert of fear. He offered them a simple yet profound explanation that shifted their perspective entirely.
Your God, the God of your father, has given you treasure in your sacks. As for your silver, I received it.
He dismissed their greatest fear with a simple statement, implying that the returned money was a blessing, not a crime. With their fears quieted, the steward led them into the comfort of Joseph's house. The interior was cool and spacious, a welcome refuge from the hot sun and the even hotter anxiety that had been consuming them. The steward's kindness continued. He brought them water. They washed the dust of their long journey from their feet. Their donkeys, which they had feared would be confiscated, were also taken and given fodder. The brothers began to relax, the terror of moments before slowly fading away. They were told that they would be eating a meal there at noon, and they started to prepare the gifts they had brought for the governor, their host, who would be arriving soon. Noon arrived, and with it, Joseph. He entered the room, commanding. His eyes swept over the men who stood waiting. They bowed low before him, faces touching the ground. They had rehearsed this moment, and now it was happening. Joseph's gaze was steady. Then he asked about their father.
And how is your aged father you told me about? Is he still alive?
Your servant, our father, is still alive and well.
They bowed again, prostrating themselves. Their deference was absolute. Joseph looked up and found the one he'd been searching for. He saw Benjamin, his mother's son, standing there. Joseph's composure began to crack.
Is this your youngest brother, the one you told me about? God be gracious to you, my son.
The sight was too much. He was overcome. The dam broke. He needed to weep. He could not show it there. He turned abruptly and hurried from the room. He found his chambers and closed the door. Alone, the tears he had held back streamed down his face as he wept for lost childhood, his long-lost brother, and the complex beauty of the moment. After washing his face and composing himself, Joseph returned to the main room. He had regained his authoritative demeanor, the mask of the powerful Egyptian governor firmly back in place. No one would have guessed the emotional storm that had just taken place within him.
Serve the food.
Immediately, the household staff sprang into action. They set up 3 distinct dining areas. A separate table was prepared for Joseph. Another table was set for his Egyptian guests and officials. A third table was set for the 11 brothers from Canaan. The brothers were seated, but not in a random order. The steward directed them to their places according to their age. Reuben the eldest, Benjamin the youngest. They looked at each other in wide-eyed amazement. How could this Egyptian official possibly know their birth order? A fresh wave of wonder and unease washed over them. As the meal was served, servants brought generous portions from Joseph's own table to theirs. It was a sign of great honor. While they all received bountiful plates, Benjamin's portion was 5 times larger than anyone else's. This extravagant show of favor was unmistakable. The governor was singling out their youngest brother for special honor. The brothers exchanged confused glances. Despite the mystery, the atmosphere at the feast was one of celebration. Their fear had melted away, replaced by relief. With Simeon restored and Benjamin honored, they felt a new sense of security. They ate and drank freely, spirits lifting with every bite and sip. For the first time in a long time, the brothers feasted and celebrated, sharing a meal with the very man who held their destinies in his hands.